back to the next part of the Fram build. So I'm gonna start with the I'm gonna start up with the diorama base itself now, and for this I have purchased a 5 centimeters thick foam board that I'm gonna use. I'm not gonna use the whole length. I think it's about a little over a meter, 1 meter and 20 long. But I am gonna measure the ship if I want it like this, for instance. I really don't want the bowsprit to go outside of the diorama, because if I come to a point down the road where I want to make a case for it, enclosure for it, I want the whole thing to be inside that that enclosure. So I'm kind of thinking of doing it like so, and then cutting it off here. That still gives me let's see if I have something to measure with. So if I put it like this, so the bowsprit is inside of this corner here, and everything is kind of like so. I'm gonna measure up proper once I get going, and then I actually cut it off here, and that would give me a width of about, I can actually make it 40 centimeters. 40 centimeters wide, and then it would be like, what is it? It's like 60 centimeters long. I think I'm gonna do that, and it's only 5 centimeters long. So I'm gonna in a minute I'm gonna take off the stand, and I'm gonna draw around the hull so I can cut out where the shape of the ship is gonna be, and instead of I mean, I want the entire hull is not going to be down into the foam board, because it's too high, but I do want some of it to go down in the wave. So instead of keep sinking the ship or building or put another foam board underneath this, I'm just going to build up some waves that goes like so over the hull. So you still can see the red of the hull. Perhaps you can see some of the screws. Maybe I'll do it in like an angle, or an upward motion, or a downward motion. I'm not quite sure yet. Or maybe I'm just gonna keep it straight, because maybe I just want calm weather. Maybe it's a very early morning in the Antarcticas, and the water is all nice and calm, you know. And I'm thinking about doing maybe an iceberg here at one of the corners, or maybe up here, and some floating ice around here as well. Maybe maybe I can 3D print some penguins and whatnot. But I'm just gonna see here. I just want to make sure that everything is inside the yeah, it is inside there. So I'm gonna cut it there, so 40 centimeters. I'm just gonna mark that up, probably make it 45 centimeters, I guess. So that will be here. Yeah, that should be enough. Maybe we give a dimension of how much water, and maybe how kind of small the ship is compared to the water. I don't know. I'm going to do 43, and I'm just going to mark it up, because I have a foam cutter that I'm going to use, which is probably going to be all wrinkly. 43 down here. So just marking up the foam board so it's a little bit easier to work with. Something like this. Like so. And I'm just gonna cut this. Actually, for this cut, I'm just gonna use a Stanley knife with a new blade, and it's gonna be this one. Doesn't have a new blade, so I'm just gonna pause here for a second and just switch the blade of the knife, and I'm back again. So new blade on the knife. I'm just gonna lay this this ruler so I can get a straight cut, and then just cut away. Like so. And this stage can be a little bit messy. Actually, it can be quite messy to make a diorama. As I said, it can be messy. So this is going to be the plate that I'm going to use. Then I save the second plate for the for my wicked wench build. So the next step that I'm going to do is just get rid of all this. So this is the board that I'm going to use for the diorama, all done. And I'm going to take the ship now out of the... so we're going to do it like so, yeah? And we need to have a pencil here. And then it's pretty much just drawing. I hope that you can see what I'm doing. Just draw around the hull here. It doesn't need to be that accurate, because you can always fill in everything afterwards with foam and stuff like that. But this is just going to give you a rough shape of the hull. Yeah, something like that. There we go. So there you have the rough shape of the hull, and I can just complete it here, kind of like so, yeah. So the next part here is basically just to cut away. All this here is to cut away. I said that I was going to use my foam cutter, but I'm not. I'm just going to use my my knife. So you can see it there. So I'm just going to cut down at an angle. And once I've removed all of this, I can test with the ship to see if it fits down the hole that I created, and if it doesn't, I'm just gonna cut some more out. So I'm just gonna work on this, making the hole bigger, and I can probably tell you that it's gonna go all the way down, so it's gonna be see-through. So I probably need to put a small plate underneath the diorama itself. And this is the maybe I should have could take my my foam cutter, because then I don't get this mess that I'm getting right now. Good thing I need to clean my workshop anyway. So I'm just gonna put you guys on mute and see you in a little bit. Alright, welcome back again. So there you have it. Pretty much happy with this setup here. It's not completely straight, and I kind of like that. It's pretty difficult to show you where the camera is, but it's a little bit to the starboard side, and it goes a little bit up as well. So it gives the effect that it's kind of in the middle of a roll kind of thing. I saved all of these because what you can do is that you can actually put them like so, and then you have some waves, small waves to emulate the waves, and you can put them down here like so to simulate the wake. So at the other diorama, this is basically the second diorama that I've ever done, and I've never done a diorama on this scale before. So everything is new to me as well. I looked at everything on the on YouTube on how to make dioramas. But this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build it up because it can't get further down. So I'm gonna build it up. I'm gonna use these leftovers here to simulate the some sort of waves. I'm gonna glue them down. Once they are glued down, I'm gonna put some have some blue paper, tissue paper. I'm gonna put that over and put some something called Mod Podge. This is here. This is kind of like a white glue that you put all over. So that's going to keep everything down. And then I am probably going to use not sculptamold, but I'm going to use something similar to sculptamold. I'm going to use some homemade sculptamold basically, which is some egg trays that I put in a blender and blended it so it's really fine. So the paper is really fine, the paper fibers, and I'm going to mix that with some plaster, and I'm going to give a coat on that all over the surface on top of that blue tissue paper. And it can be smoothened out, and it can be a little bit rough. But what does that is that when I paint it, it kind of simulates the small freckles on the water, tiny microwaves on top of the water. And then I'm going to use some of the product that I have here. It's called Realistic Water from Woodland Scenics. Put that all over so it becomes glossy basically, and then I'm going to build up some stuff with some waves and some details on the waves here as well, and dry brush some white and stuff like that, so it simulates a little bit of vapory action. Maybe an iceberg over here, some sort of iceberg over here. Maybe that could be a big one. That could be like here, kind of ish. What's a good thing to do that I learned is to actually, when you have the ship where you want it, you can make, for instance, I'm going to start from this side because here I can see, like here on front of it, going to make some, just going to draw some waves here because that's and there's some weight here, and that gives kind of like it helps you find some points that you need to so you have something to, like, you have something visual to go from, and that's that could be pretty. That's really helpful because now I know, okay, I'm going to build some sort of wave here and some sort of wave here. This is a valley between waves. Maybe just some normal waves here on top of here, like so. Kind of like so. So you know that it's going to continue that over here. So it kind of steers into the waves. And create this waves here as well. So that's basically the layout that I have in mind. We can kind of like something like that. There's an iceberg right there. You can put some flakes. Here, some ice floating in the water, stuff like that. You know, so basically just use your imagination on how to put things. And even though that you put this down here right now, it just gives you a general idea on what to do. It might change over time because something would look better the other way around and stuff like that. I'm just gonna take the ship up now. I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna glue some of the wakes here on the board. So see you later. Alright guys, welcome back. So I covered everything in tissue paper with with this Mod Podge. So everything, and it's dry. It's been a couple of days since I last recorded. Everything is dry now, and everything is in place basically. It looks really good. I'm going to see if I can do something about this. This just gives me an idea on where the wakes are going to be. I'm going to make them a little bit wider, so I'm going to see how I can do this. I might use some tin foil. Basically what you can do from now on is when you get to this stage is that you can cover everything in tin foil, and that when you glue the tin foil down here, it kind of you get these crevices and whatnot. And then when you paint over that and you put some sort of water effect on top of that, it kind of gives the impression of waves, like I did on this diorama here. I did the same method with the tissue paper, and then I put tin foil on, and you can see there's small deviations inside between the waves and stuff like that. So that effect you can get with tin foil. What I'm gonna use is that I'm just gonna put this up here like so. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna take a bowl, and then I talked about that sculptamold thing where you can make it yourself with egg trays. So this is basically egg trays that I blended. It gives all these fibers, paper fibers here, which is really good. I'm going to mix that like so. I'm not going to use it that much because what I want to do is that I want to work in smaller areas, so I don't get overwhelmed. And then I have just some normal plaster here. And I'm gonna scoop like so. So mix the fibers from the egg trays, the paper fibers, with plaster. And I have no idea how to how much of that paper needs to go with how much of that plaster. So that's basically just something that I'm just trying, and if once I get the consistency that I like, I'm just gonna stop there with the water and the plaster. I need a pair of gloves because this part is really messy. Like so, and then some water. I'm gonna start there and see how it goes. You might go back and forth with plaster and fiber and stuff like that. And what I'm gonna start with is I'm gonna start with the Iceberg. You see here, I probably need more fiber because it's very thinnish. I want it to be a little bit more thick. So I'm just going to take a handful of the fibers, put that down here, and mix it again until I get the consistency that I like, which is something like this. And this process can take a little while because, well, not this process, but the process that I'm going to do now, because I'm going to start with the this is supposed to be an iceberg, and this is where it meets the water. So I'm going to try and sculpt that. And what I did is that I have beforehand taken some plaster like so, and my idea is to break it apart and try to get in some more angles with the plaster. So this is going to be broken up. I have no idea on how to do it. I'm just trying my luck here, and see if I get a result that I like, basically. So I'm just gonna start by putting this on here, and you can give more than one layer. And it kind of gives a more realistic, that's what I hope at least, a more realistic look on what the iceberg is going to be. All the fibers are going to be all like it's going to be all, what's it called when you put water in on paper, is going to like absolve, I think it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that does, once you put it on here, it's a little bit stiff, but it's going to be more workable the longer time it sits, and there's a point where you can smooth everything out with your finger, so to make everything nice and smooth. Like so. I hope that you can see what I'm doing. And this part here is really messy. As you can see, you get it all over. But you just work your way around it. Absorbed, I think. I wanted to. So I'm just going to break this here into some pieces and see if there's something that I think is could be kind of cool, like a piece there. So sculpt around that so you can get a more edgy look. I know that that iceberg is kind of like both some sharp edges but also round at the same time. It has really different kind of shapes to it. So I'm just gonna keep working on this, and once it's done, we're gonna pick up from there. I'm probably gonna make the rest of it here. I want to make it make all of the everything today, because it's probably gonna take a while to dry. So I'm gonna keep working on this and get back to you. Alright, back again. The diorama, I did half of the diorama with the homemade sculptamold, but I kind of ran out of paper fiber, so I've just wanted to show you how I do it. And it's basically just a normal egg tray, at least the normal as we have it here in Denmark and probably in Scandinavia, Northern Europe. And you basically just tear it to small pieces. Like so, and then you put it in the blender. I'm just going to make this small piece here, so I can just show you. I'm not going to turn on the blender while the microphone is on, because it's going to make a lot of noise. But basically just tear it up in small pieces. Now I mean you can buy this stuff, it's called sculptamold. And you can buy this stuff on Amazon and probably in hobby and craft stores. The only reason that I do it myself is because I'm too cheap. I think it's pretty expensive for what you get. So I decided to try and make it myself, and X-trays is for me the way to go. And you just put it down here, and I'm just gonna cut off now, and so you can hear the blender. Alright, there we go. Everything's blended, so you can see it becomes this mess of fibers. There are still some bigger pieces in there, like this, for instance. But what you can do is, and also what I should have done before, is that when you go to come to the stage where you have to mix everything, just put the fibers inside the ball and then pour the water in, and just leave it there to soak. So like stuff like this absorbs the water and becomes really soft, and then you can add the plaster. So basically that's what I'm gonna do. Doesn't matter what color the egg trays are, because everything's gonna be painted anyways. So that's what I'm gonna do now, and then I'm gonna continue with the diorama. Alright, see you later. Hello guys, and welcome back again. So for now the diorama is well, it's not done, but it's break time because everything is still wet. I can feel that the plaster and stuff like that, it's still wet, but I painted the surface. I had a lighter color of blue for the kind of surface, and then a deeper color blue for the for the more, like to show that it's more deep here, you know. Then I took some other colors to put around the iceberg. I'm not quite sure if it looks like an iceberg, but yeah, anyways, this is going to be an iceberg. Because I'm trying to show the transition from when because the iceberg is white, when it goes down into the water, it becomes a light blue and a little bit darker, and then it just goes down into the depth. You can't see it anymore. So this is what I'm trying to do here. So this takes a really long time to dry. It's just normal acrylic paints. Obviously it's not done yet. I need it to be dry before I can go further with the diorama. But I'm gonna airbrush some of the same colors that I used on the big piece here, to kind of like blend those colors in. Hopefully it will work. If it doesn't work, I'm just gonna do the same thing that I did on the big piece here. This is gonna be white, and this is gonna be white, and I'm gonna see if I can what's it called? I'm gonna see if I can make it like a snow effect. I'm gonna put some baking powder on, I don't know what's it called, on top of it. So even though I'm gonna paint it white, I'm gonna top it off with some snow, hopefully. But once this is dry, which is probably gonna be dry in a few days, we're gonna start with the water effect. I'm gonna paint everything in the water effect. I'm also gonna place the ice flakes, or the ice flakes that's swimming along the hull. I'm actually been thinking of doing like an ice shelf here that the ship has to go through, and then show some broken pieces of ice alongside the ship. That's my intention, anyways. I'm gonna see how it's gonna be. Maybe I should have done that while I put on the plaster mixture, to make it like like a thing of a piece of the everything. But yeah, those are gonna be painted white as well, and pretty much that's it. Once the water has dried, which is gonna dry takes a few days before that to dry, I'm gonna come in and make some more water effects on top of this, and also more water effect on the side of the ship, and around the iceberg and stuff like that. So it's really not done yet. There's a lot of work yet still to be done, but this is just a natural place to stop the video and let it dry, and then we can pick it up in a few days and work further on it. But yeah, this is it for now. I don't know. I hope that you can see it. I don't know if you can see in details, but I am going to take pictures and show on my Facebook page and on my Instagram page by the same name, so you can see an up close details of the diorama. I figured that this is not fully dried yet because I painted it yesterday, and this is the day after, and I can see that I put my finger to see if it was done, and this big piece of paint kind of came off, and I can feel it here when I painted these. I couldn't paint it, I had to dab the paint on. That it also came, flakes of paint came on, so it just needs some rest. So next time we're going to do the water effect. So thank you very much for joining me this time, and I will see you again in the next time. Please remember to like the video and share it and subscribe. That will help a lot. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye bye.